Welcome to Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. It's another edition with a lot of breaking news, top stuff analysis here for you. My name again is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you've just joined the channel, it's a football tactical analysis channel. We talk about football generally. We analyze a lot of stuff. So do not forget to press on the subscribe button, turn on notification, and do choose all. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. But today, actually, however, it's a big one. Chelsea are going to get the most money in terms of sponsorships deals than every other club in the English Premier League. Most likely, even more than Manchester United, Manchester City, Arsenal, and then Liverpool, which Standard Chartered. And that's exactly why we are here. How are they getting things done? What are these stuff hinged on? And it is hinged on a couple of things. Chelsea already have gone to go and get other people. They've let 3 go, Trivago, Oman Air. All of these things are important in the regard of Chelsea and how they are going. But yes, just before we go on with it, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's important. It's very imperative that you do subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications over there as well, and then choose all. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. We're continuing. So in the previous analysis where we're talking about why a lot of the Premier League clubs do hate Chelsea, we went in to speak about the fact that Chelsea are going to get a 40 million sponsorship deal. In fact, it's actually in excess of 40 million, 42 million pound sponsorship deal from Infinite Athletes. So essentially, Infinite Athletes is American data collecting company that is essentially about sports and how to get sports performance at the highest level using data and statistics. Now, that was it with Infinite Athletes. They are officially the new front shirt sponsors from Chelsea. But by way of context, you remember before Baghdad, Bali and Todd Boehly took over the club, it was three were in charge of everything that Chelsea were doing in terms of the front sponsorship. They were giving them some good money. The training kit was being sponsored by Trivago. Trivago was giving Chelsea 10 million in that regard. In fact, since Baghdad Bali did come in, and of course Todd Boehly did come in, there have been other companies. Chelsea were talking to the Gazprom group at some point in time. They were speaking to Allianz at some point in time. And as you know, Allianz is a German insurance company, and they sponsor Allianz Arena in that regard. They were speaking to them at some point in time. Chelsea also did speak to Kayun at some point in time. Oman Air is on board with Chelsea now in a different regard in that regard. And I'll tell you how that will influence the new deal that's going to come for Chelsea Football Club. Now, there have been multiple reports. In fact, the bigger report for the Infinite Athletes deal is the fact that, you see, if you look at Infinite Athletes is just a new restructured company. It was an old company that has been restructured. Their revenue yearly doesn't even meet the numbers that Chelsea are expecting to get. And these raise concern for a lot of Premier League clubs in there and how they were able to get approval to sponsor Chelsea Football Club. Now, that essentially isn't the worry. The worry is that Chelsea signed just 1 year with Infinite Athletes. It means that they had plans to either get a new, bigger front shield sponsor or move away from Infinite Athletes in a much more multi-year deal with anybody in that regard. And that's exactly why we want to talk about. So first, let's talk about Arsenal. Arsenal is sponsored by Fly Emirates. I mean, you know that Emirates Airlines do their job for Arsenal Football Club. They've been a very long time. Also, their naming right for Arsenal being with Emirates as it stands now. So Arsenal gets about 40 million from Emirates and about 2 million for their naming rights, and also some other things in excesses for Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal also gets excess money from their front, from their jerseys sponsors, their kit makers in Adidas in that regard. Also, apart from that, there's Manchester City who make 50 million from Etihad. Etihad also give them excess money from the stadium naming. They give them excess money from the fact that their training grounds naming is also done for them. So these are the things. Now, it is important because if you want to make sure that your club is solvent, your club is running at almost 0 to nothing risk-free, then you need some of these bigger deals. Chelsea is in that league of commercial brands. And I think that essentially in the English Premier League, Manchester United are heads and shoulders above everybody in that regard, in terms of sponsorship, in terms of attracting the big brands to come and work with them. Recently, I did speak about the fact that I was interested in knowing how Manchester United's marketing team did get the likes of Adidas in that contract extension and the other guys that are there at Manchester United. But then let's just even put that aside. These are the monies that these clubs are making. Liverpool is making a little around 40 million also from Standard Chartered. Arsenal are making good money when it comes to Fly Emirates, about 40 to 42 million thereabouts, because of the stadium naming and the monies that they make from there. Etihad are also making good money in that regard from Manchester City, and it's important. Now, one of the things that's so important is that Chelsea needed some form of competitiveness in terms of the companies that wanted to bid and then own their front shed space. And it's not just for the men's teams, for the men's team, women's team, and sometimes even in some teams, the academy is also inclusive, right? And Chelsea and Manchester City have the best academy in England, arguably. So essentially, they feel like they have the push to get that done. Now, it's in this regard that Chelsea signed a contract with Oman Air, but there's an exit clause in Oman Air. Oman Air is the newest airline carrier in the Middle East. Now, they wanted to be out there. They wanted that sponsorship. They wanted that advertisement, sort of, in front of Chelsea's, in front, as part of being part of Chelsea. So anytime Chelsea will be traveling, they'll be doing with Oman Air, so that, of course, they will get some in terms of the advertisement that Chelsea will give them. So that is brilliant in that regard, and that's the services that Oman Air are offering to Chelsea Football Club. Now, again, infinite athletes may not go on in a multi-year deal with Chelsea because of these reasons. The first reason is that there are worries from Premier League clubs in terms of the revenues that infinite athletes can give Chelsea on a year-to-year basis. So Chelsea feel like, okay, fine. Infinite athletes say they are giving us 40 million this year, but their revenue annually is about 18 million. Is that sustainable? They're looking at all of these things. That's a little bit worrying, right? And even quite apart from that also, Chelsea are looking at comparing themselves with, say, Arsenal Football Club, comparing themselves to, say, Manchester City, comparing themselves to, say, Liverpool, who are making huge sums of money. Man City, in this case, making around 50 million and more, and Chelsea are going to make about 10 million less. Now, we'll talk about if that can be possible. And it's in the reason why Chelsea are still in talks to engage other clubs in a multi-deal kind of sponsorship for the front set. And they've spoken to clubs, they've spoken to companies like Allianz, Qayyum, like I mentioned earlier, Oman Air, but then Oman could not offer the amount of money that Chelsea wanted. And then they had to go in for the new guy called Riyadh Air. So Riyadh Air is essentially from Saudi Arabia. They sponsor partly Atletico de Madrid. And then they are also looking for opportunities. Now, you understand that through the job of the Saudi Investment Fund and what they are doing with their football, they want to push Saudi tourism. And it's essentially the reason why people like Messi, Ronaldo, and the likes were being pushed to to play some part, sort of, in the tourism of Saudi Arabia and the influx of players there in the Saudi Arabian League. Now, that's their biggest airline carrier. That's the nation's airline carrier. And they would want to be there and compete with Qatar Airways, with Fly Emirates, Qatar Airways for Paris Saint-Germain, Fly Emirates, and then Etihad Air. They want to compete in that regard. So that's the reason why they were looking for opportunities. And in opportunity, you remember the picture of Todd Boehly flying to Saudi Arabia in discussions with the Saudi Crown Prince and the likes. These are parts of the things. Todd Boehly realized that, okay, he can speak to the Saudis and get something out of them. Now, it is the amount that they are offering Chelsea that is staggering for a club that is not possibly going to play in the Champions League next season. The starting asking price for Chelsea is around 60 million. Better than what Man City are getting from Etihad Air. Better than what Arsenal are getting from Fly Emirates. And it's actually staggering because Chelsea may not qualify for the Champions League. And I think that's the reason why the deal will drag for a very long time. Because Riyadh Air would want much more exposure. They want a team that plays in the Champions League. Chelsea would want Riyadh Air. It's beautiful stuff. And let me also add to the fact that immediately Chelsea signed a deal with Riyadh Air, Oman Air is going to be off because there's an exit clause in that regard. And Chelsea are not going to have both Riyadh Air and Oman Air in their business at the same time. Oman Air's contract has an exit clause, and Chelsea are very careful with that to make sure that there are no issues with respect to Oman Air and then Riyadh Air, you understand? So now, once the Riyadh Air comes on board, they are possibly going to give Chelsea 60 million for the front set of the female team. The female team is doing very well because they are consistently playing the female UEFA Champions League. They are winning the Barclays Women Premier League in England. And the only problem is the Chelsea men's team, which is in transition, sort of. So that's exactly where they are. And that's going to be one of the biggest basic monies. I mean, there can be some other add-ons in terms of what Chelsea will get other packages that will be on the side that are going to be appendages to the main deal that Chelsea are going to have. And this deal is actually very huge. That's something why Todd Boehly is trying to push to get his team to get. And Riyadh Air is a kind of airline that wants opportunities. It's like a Saudi Arabia is essentially trying to go across everybody. Real Madrid in themselves are also gone to Dubai, and they are partnering with Top Visit Dubai as a partner. You go, you watch behind Paris Saint-Germain's jersey, and you see Visit Rwanda. It's essentially a lot of the tourism agencies in the various countries are trying to promote people to come to their countries, are trying to promote people to say that, you know, this is the best tourism destination for you. If you come here, everything is fine. You are going to enjoy it. So it's a staggering 60 million euros from Chelsea Football Club. Staggering. It's an amount of money where Chelsea sits down and they say, wow, this is some money that you cannot let go. So Todd Boehly, Baghdad Eghbali are really looking at it. And Riyadh Air looks like they are going to be signing a multi-year sponsorship deal with Chelsea Football Club. In this signing of the multi-year sponsorship deal with Chelsea Football Club, they are looking to have a long-term deal with them. Now, the key note of this thing is that Chelsea would have to try and qualify to the Champions League. Else, maybe the 60 million will be beat down. Because, of course, every negotiator who is experienced in their job would meant to make sure that they have some leverage in terms of going into an agreement sort of with any club at all. And Riyadh Air in themselves will not just throw their money away. They would want to make sure that at the very least, they will have something good to work for themselves. And the Champions League is going to be ideal for them. Now, you look at the performance of Mauricio Pochettino and his boys, it's beginning to pick up. So every time the performance will beginning to will go well, Mauricio Pochettino, Todd Boehly, Baghdad Eghbali will believe that they'll be able to get a 60 million that Riyadh Air will come on. In fact, that may only be the accent and starting price, because you know what? Now, when you come to the team and they've qualified for the Champions League, now they will stand at a better position to even attract much different agencies to come on board. So Chelsea really are strategically placing themselves, and it's that business ideology that you look at people like Todd Boehly and you get excited, because one of the things that teams in the English Premier League used to get money from, especially the bottom tier teams, are the betting companies. And there's a possibility that betting companies are going to be struck out and they are going to be prevented from sponsoring teams. Now, airlines seem to be much more sustainable groups in terms of sponsoring clubs, in terms of working with them, in terms of being long-term partnerships. Of course, when you speak about Etihad and you speak about Manchester City, you say, okay, fine, they are from the same parent, so maybe that is just linear. Now, look at Arsenal and then Fly Emirates. It has been consistent for a very long time. Qatar Airlines, of course, same for Paris Saint-Germain. But really, it's an industry where you can bank your hopes on as a club, where there isn't so much of a scandal and those issues, where you know that also the business booms, because of course tourism is at the heart and at the hub of even the football that the players play in terms of travel and whatnot. So it is very, very, very important to Baghdad Eghbali and then Todd Boehly, and they are really looking into it. They are really, really looking into it, and I'm confident that even a Europa League bet will give Chelsea that 60 million, and they really need to look at it. I think that by the close of the year, by mid next year, Chelsea are going to get that deal done, or with Riyadh Air, and all the details are in there. So yeah, if it gets done, almost every Chelsea fan will be excited. But then those are the numbers, 60 million. And the funny thing is that immediately Chelsea agreed a 60 million with Riyadh Air. Immediately they agreed a 60 million with Riyadh Air. Now, what it means is that Infinite Athletes will not just go. Infinite Athletes are possibly going to be the front shirt sponsor for Chelsea's training kits. So if you look at Chelsea's training kits now, it's being sponsored by Trivago. Trivago are giving them 10 million for Chelsea Football Club. Trivago are not going to extend beyond the 3 years that they had with Chelsea. Now, immediately, Chelsea gets Riyadh Air. Chelsea are possibly going to push Infinite Athletes to the front shirt, because now they are part of the sleeves of the training kits. They get Infinite Athletes as a front shirt of the training kit. We'd say maybe some 15, 20 million thereabout for Chelsea. And then they get, what's the name, Riyadh Air in there as Chelsea's front shirt sponsor. So Chelsea will hope to keep both Infinite Athletes and then Riyadh Air on board, because they are very, very important. Somebody who asks, how is it possible for Todd Boehly to do these deals? For Infinite Athletes, these are American companies. They've worked with Todd Boehly. In fact, their owner spoke extensively well about Todd Boehly and how much he has worked with him as a person, how much he believes that he's a top business person and he doesn't fail in terms of the teams that he manages in in American football and thereabout. So he believes in him. So it's going to be easier. They are literally business partners. He also, as an entity, as a sports entity, would want to push himself, would want to put his brand in there. And already they offer a lot of database analysis and what's not to the Chelsea team in terms of injuries and all of that. So they would want to be there in some partnership. And the front shirt is a key possibility. Maybe some of the sleeves also is a key possibility in the main shirt as well. So yeah, that's Chelsea are going to make a whooping sum of money, bigger than all the Premier League top 6 club. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is the Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you for choosing us. I'll see you. Bye bye.